You're watching the Mad Fictional channel.
Hello and welcome to Mad Fictional, where we explore all things video, from animated television to movies. Before there was the Quatermass Experiment and other such British science fiction films of note, there was Devil Girl from Mars, a movie that sought to answer that burning question: what happens when you take a female Martian commander hell-bent on acquiring human men to replace her home world's declining male population, and drop her in a remote Scottish pub? The short answer is, you get a bad science fiction film that's finally growing in cult status, but is it one of those sci-fi cheapies that's bad enough to actually be considered good? Let's find out. Oh, and if you're not used to the way we do business, we intend to walk you through the entire movie, and that's as much of a spoiler warning as we're prepared to give for a film that's been out since the 50s. So, if you haven't seen Devil Girl from Mars and you'd rather not have the plot spoiled for you, you know exactly what you need to do. Devil Girl from Mars opens with a bang, quite literally, with the explosion of an airliner, and quickly moves to the depths of the Scottish Highlands inside the Bonnie Charlie, the pub of a remote inn run by Mr. and Mrs. Jameson, played by John Laurie and Sophie Stewart respectively, where staff and guests are listening to the news report of the airliner tragedy over the wireless. To ground the film world in real-life human drama, we're introduced to the following people: Ellen Prestwick, played by Hazel Court, a fashion model who came to the Bonnie Charlie to escape an affair with a married man. Professor Arnold Hennessy, played by Joseph Tomelty, an astrophysicist, accompanied by journalist Michael Carter, played by Hugh McDermott, who was sent by the British government to investigate the flaming airliner debris, believed to be caused by a meteorite. And because the world cannot survive without love, Ellen quickly forms a romantic liaison with Carter. And then there's escaped convict Robert Justin, played by Peter Reynolds, convicted of accidentally killing his wife, who comes to the inn to reunite with barmaid Doris, played by Adrienne Corrie, his one true love. Despite the conviction, Doris takes pity on him and helps Justin fake an identity, presenting him to Mrs. Jameson as Albert Simpson, who lost his wallet after falling into a nearby stream. The innkeeper agrees to let Justin A. Simpson stay at the inn for a few days in exchange for handyman services. And he might have gotten away with it if not for that meddling reporter Carter, who recognizes him for the manslaughtering fugitive that he is. Before things can pop off though, the pub patrons witness an alien spaceship landing not too far from the Bonnie Charlie. It doesn't take long for everyone to realize this ship was the so-called meteor that collided with the airliner. The sole living occupant of the spaceship is Naya.
Who is she? Who is she? Who is she? Where did you find her?
The statuesque leather dome-garbed commander from Mars was on her way to London when she collided with the airliner, and with her ship crippled, she was forced to land in the remote Scottish moors to make the necessary repairs. Naya is a dangerous character, armed with a ray gun that can either paralyze or kill, and accompanied by a tall menacing robot named Chani. On a walkabout, exploring her surroundings, Naya stumbles upon the Jamesons' handyman, David, and incinerates him instantly because he isn't suitable to her needs, and then she spots the Bonnie Charlie. After making a grand entrance, Naya states her mission and intentions to acquire human men to replace her home world's declining male population, the result of a devastating war between the sexes, thereby saving Martian civilization from extinction. Naturally, none of the male patrons are willing to go with her to Mars, so she responds with intimidation, trapping everyone within an invisible wall and turning Chani loose to vaporize much of the manor's grounds. Later, Naya discovers Justin and Tommy, the Jamesons' young nephew, hiding on the grounds, and she kidnaps the boy as a possible male specimen, okay, and exerts her mind control ability over Justin and sends him back to the inn. Nope, we're not going to ask why. If she has mind control abilities, doesn't Naya simply mentally compel the men of her choosing to hop aboard the ship? Because that would make too much sense. Anyway, Naya, for some unknown reason, decides to bring Professor Hennessy aboard her spaceship to view the technological achievements of Martian civilization, including the ship's atomic power source. But what kind of man would Carter be if he allowed Naya to abduct a young boy, so in exchange for Tommy, he volunteers to go to Mars to become breeding stock. But deception is afoot because Hennessy, realizing that the only road to victory over Naya is through trickery, suggests that Carter should sabotage the ship's power source after takeoff. However, it turns out that Carter has plans of his own and attempts a double cross before boarding the spaceship by snatching Naya's controller for Chani. Unfortunately, he is thwarted by Naya's mind control powers. Naya releases Carter and they both return to the bar, where she announces that she will destroy the inn and kill everyone within when she leaves for London. But since she's not a completely heartless monster, she allows the puny humans to select one man to travel with her in order to escape death. The men reluctantly draw lots and Carter wins the draw, this time hoping to enact Hennessy's plan to destroy the spaceship. But things in this film are never as simple as they should be, so when Naya returns to learn their decision, Justin, now free from the mind control, offers to go with her of his own free will. After takeoff, although we don't see it, we assume that Justin successfully manages to sabotage Naya's flying saucer because this happens. And so, by sacrificing himself to save the men of Earth, Justin atones for the death of his wife. And because you can't be in a Scottish pub without having a wee dram, the survivors celebrate their escape from Martian obliteration with a drink at the bar. Released by British Lion, Devil Girl from Mars was produced by the Danziger brothers, and directed by David MacDonald. It was filmed at Shepperton Studios with sets designed by art director Norman G. Arnold, and Jerry Anderson, who later created UK television series such as Thunderbirds, served as the sound editor. To save time and money, composer Edwin Astley recycled his Sabre of London score for the film. According to screenwriter John Chartres Mather, the project came to life because of the Danzigers, who had finished producing Calling Scotland Yard ahead of schedule. Mather was instructed to use the remaining film studio time, already booked and paid for, by working on a feature film. Devil Girl was made on a shoestring budget, with no retakes except in cases where the actual film stock was damaged. Filming lasted for 3 weeks, often going on well into the night. Hazel Court reminisced, "I remember great fun on the set. It was like a repertory company acting that film." Patricia Laffan might not have shared Hazel's opinion, as her Devil Girl outfit, designed by John Sutcliffe, was made so economically that she wasn't permitted to eat or drink due to the difficulties of removing her PVC costume. Jack Whitehead had his share of problems also because Chani, the fully automated robot he constructed, suffered constant breakdowns during filming. Drawing parallels between Devil Girl from Mars and other science fiction movies of the time, the first movie that comes to mind is The Day the Earth Stood Still, which was released in 1951. Both movies deal with the arrival of an alien on Earth and the fear and suspicion that comes with it, the difference being The Day the Earth Stood Still is a far more serious movie. The alien Klaatu, posing as Mr. Carpenter, was meant by screenwriter Edmund H. North to invoke Jesus Christ, and similarly, there are hints that the Martian woman Naya was designed to evoke an anti-Virgin Mary image. Naya was most likely meant to serve as an unexpected and unforeseen alien counterpoint to the Virgin Mary. The second film Devil Girl from Mars reminds me of his Plan 9 from Outer Space, which was released a few years later in 1959. Both movies have a certain campy feel to them, with Plan 9 from Outer Space being notorious for its bad acting and special effects.
You see, your stupid minds, stupid!
One of the most striking aspects of Devil Girl from Mars is its portrayal of gender roles. Naya is depicted as a strong, intelligent and independent woman, which was pretty unusual for a sci-fi movie in the 1950s, who's come to Earth on a mission to save her dying planet. She's confident, assertive, and not afraid to use her power and authority to get what she wants. In contrast, the one-dimensional male characters in the film are often portrayed as weak, ineffectual, and unable to stand up to Naya's authority. At the same time, however, the film also reinforces traditional gender roles in other ways. For example, Ellen is portrayed as emotional, vulnerable, and in need of protection from the male characters. The male characters are often seen discussing how best to protect Ellen, and one character even declares that it is his duty as a man to defend her honor. The film also raises questions about the role of science in society. Naya's mission to Earth is driven by the need to find suitable breeding stock to save her dying planet. However, the film portrays this scientific goal as inherently sinister and threatening, with Naya depicted as a ruthless conqueror who is willing to sacrifice human lives to achieve her aims. In reality, even in the 1950s, Naya could have found plenty of willing male candidates to travel back to Mars if she only looked hard enough. I ain't saying Earthmen are easy, but from the male perspective, there are a lot worse fates than being responsible for repopulating a planet. So, what are some of the things that the film does get right? From a psychological point of view, Devil Girl from Mars can be seen as a reflection of the anxieties of its time. In the 1950s, there was a lot of social change going on, and people were feeling nervous about the Cold War and the rise of communism. The idea of being snatched by aliens and whisked away to a foreign planet can be viewed as a metaphor for this anxiety, with Naya, the alien, symbolizing the unknown and frightening forces that many people were afraid of. Also, the notion of a female alien coming to Earth to take men back to her planet can be seen as a way to represent the fear of strong women in society, while the concept of an alien invasion can be looked at as an analogy for the fear of the unknown and the other, someone that is different, foreign, or unfamiliar. From a cognitive science perspective, the film raises interesting questions about perception and reality. Naya is portrayed as a powerful and otherworldly figure, but it's not entirely clear whether she is actually a villain or just a misunderstood character. The characters in the film struggle to understand her motivations and actions, and this ambiguity raises interesting questions about the limitations of human perception and the nature of reality itself. The film's style and tone are also noteworthy, as it uses a persuasive tone to draw the viewer in and engage them in the story. The use of rhetorical questions, such as what will happen when the Devil Girl from Mars arrives, adds to the excitement and intrigue of the film, while the storytelling aspect helps to make the story relatable and memorable. But is this film bad enough to be good? Let's be honest, Devil Girl from Mars isn't exactly a masterpiece in terms of production value, acting, or even writing. The special effects are clearly low budget, the dialogue can be a bit cheesy at times, and the acting is, well, not the best. But that's precisely why this movie has gained a bit of a cult following over the years. You see, Devil Girl from Mars is a perfect example of a B-movie. It's the type of movie that you watch with your friends and make fun of, but also can't help but enjoy. It has that special charm that only comes from movies that are made on a shoestring budget and don't take themselves too seriously. One of the reasons why Devil Girl from Mars has become so popular is ball-busting, uncompromising hard-as-nails Naya, played expertly by Patricia Laffin, who gives a performance that is both serious and campy at the same time. The Scottish setting of the movie also adds to its charm. The remote inn where Naya lands her spaceship gives the movie a sense of isolation and tension that works well with the story. Plus, the Scottish accents of the characters are just plain fun to listen to. But let's not forget about the robot, Chani. Sure, he's a bit clunky looking, but he's also kind of adorable in his own way. And who can resist a robot with a Scottish accent? Overall, Devil Girl from Mars is a prime example of a movie that's bad enough to be good. It's a B-movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's what makes it so enjoyable to watch. The low-budget special effects, cheesy dialogue, and over-the-top acting all add to the charm of the movie. So, if you're looking for a fun sci-fi movie to watch with your friends, give Devil Girl from Mars a try. You might be surprised at just how much you enjoy it. Oh, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more science fiction movie content. Until next time, keep exploring the madly fictional cosmos from the comfort of your couch. Thanks for watching.